Hello and welcome back. We have a pretty good show planned for you today, and hopefully it goes as planned because nothing I do ever does. But we're going to go over commercial real estate market. We're going to also go into the residential market. And since the NBA playoffs have just started, we're going to talk about that. That's why I have the Suns hat on today. A lot of noise with Bud Light. Let's dig deep and find out who Dylan Mulvaney is. We are going to talk about the U.S. dollar. We need more presence and talk about where the United States bases are in the world. XFL. Let's talk about some XFL, and we're going to do a show review. So that's going to be at the end of the show. So we're going to kick it off, and we're going to talk about the commercial real estate market and why a lot of people are saying that it's going to be like 2008. Danny, what do you think about it?
So I'm hearing on the news a lot about commercial real estate just because of the recent bank crisis going on.
Bank run, yes.
Yes, with SVB. A lot of it has to do with what I believe is that because of a lot of offices are vacant, they're not being leased, and since there's no money coming in to pay off those rents, then the commercial real estate mortgages could run default, and that could cause more bank failures.
No, they will. There's going to be banks are going to tighten up. But to your point about commercial real estate, I think a lot of companies, because of COVID, and they got really comfortable sending their people to remote. Now they want them to come back, right? Because hey, we're already in the hole for these office spaces. You need to come back so we can, get our ROI on the employees, right? Now, I know a lot of people that don't want to go back to the office, but they got really comfortable in their pajamas, and I know most of them binge watch Netflix and all this other stuff. If I'm a business owner, I want you to come in the office. If I'm paying for rent for an office, I want to see your face. I want to see you talking to other employees. I want to see you, where are you struggling? I can't do that from my office and then your office at home. What if you're busy or you're doing something, or you're doing a bathroom break or something? I got to be able to walk into your cubicle or office and see what you're doing.
So you believe that we need to micromanage people?
I don't trust people, so I think that I think 10% of the people would take advantage, even more.
Do less, not be as productive?
Not be as well. It goes both ways. I know people are more productive because they don't have that hour commute.
Oh yeah, because when I do that hour commute one way, I'm just demotivated away. Like, I just don't want to work. I'm just so pissed because traffic does rile me up. It boils me up. It pisses me off. It ruins my day. And when I'm in the office, I just want to cool off. So there's already like an hour or two of me trying to cool off, being pissed off at traffic,
Someone
and not really focused
off
at work.
Yep. But on the plus side, you can always listen to our podcast on the way home.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Catch up on that, get an extra view, an extra like, who knows? But no, I think like a lot of industries, they just want you back. And a lot of companies are doing that. They're COVID, good 2 years, all these big buildings, the Wells Fargo building right down the street from me, 4 big buildings were vacant forever, and they're finally bringing people on, and a lot of people are like, they don't want to do it. A lot of companies are doing hybrid, right? So go ahead and pull up a little thumbnail that we have. Wow, here's why a potential crash in the commercial real estate market could look a lot like the 2008 crisis, according to one CEO. I 100% could see that. I can see that. There could be a saving grace. I don't know from who, what, where, but I still think we're the best country in the world, and I think we could figure it out. But then again, I didn't see 2008 coming. No one did, and everyone lost a lot of money, including me.
Yeah, I mean, if this were to crash as they foresee, we could lose a lot of jobs. This could be where we have unemployment on the rise with all these vacancies, because there's a lot of money in circulation, and it's going to be slowing down. And when that slowdown happens, that means more people are going to be without a job, rather. It makes me wonder, this whole campaign about bringing people back to the office, is it because they foresaw this crisis?
I don't know if they foresaw the crisis. No one foresaw this crisis, I don't think. it honestly came out of nowhere, and I think it started last March. So we've been like in the like real estate market where you're trying to buy a house. All these realtors, since March, and mortgage companies have seen a downfall, and they'll tell you like, oh, it's going to get better, it's going to get better, but they have to tell you that because they have to sell you a home, right? And they have to sell you a mortgage. So I don't know if it's going to get better. There's a lot of people like, have you ever watched Valuetainment? Those guys on Valuetainment?
Yeah, absolutely. I love those guys.
Oh, they're great, and they give you so much information. They don't believe it's going to go. They believe it's going to go up. They were talking about in May that there's going to be a 75 bip. That the Feds are going to raise it up 75 bips, and they could. They were talking that rates might go up in the double digits again. That's scary, but it can happen. The only scary part, the bad part about that is housing is quadruple what it was when rates were at that double digits, 10%, 11%. And the norm was 6-7% before rates started to drop. And then that 2.5% that people have, like, I don't think you'll see that in a long time.
Well, we have this influx that when mortgage rates went down and you see that 2 in front of it, then people are trying to get as much housing as possible. You saw the news with those lines behind to get a house, like people trying to get in these bidding wars.
Oh, the open houses and bidding wars. Yeah, that was a real thing.
Because of like a value of the house, say it was like $300,000, and someone says they're selling it for $300,000. Oh, I'll give it to you for $310. Another person comes up, I'll give it to you for $320, and then it just keeps going up and up. And
well, that just happened recently. Over a year and a half ago, people were selling a house. They offered $450 and they got $550 for it.
But they only had that ability because mortgage rates were so low. Lending was cheap.
Correct. Lending was cheap. I mean, yes, you had a 3% interest rate. You can afford a lot more
because
house.
of that run up of housing prices, and everyone's pulling up bringing up the housing prices as much as possible, and then boom, rates went up. Then getting money is not as cheap anymore. So there's no more of the run to just purchase property anymore, especially at today's prices. So now we have this pull and tug of there's property taxes really high, but they're slowly coming down, but interest rates are still high. So it's just trying to figure out how low will these housing prices go, because a lot of people bought at the high, and they're now underwater. They're going to take a hit.
Yep.
And, some people are very resistant right now. They're trying to sell it as expensive as possible. They're trying to flip it for money, and they're not willing to take that loss. But strong possibility that they're going to have to suck it up now, or it could be worse later.
I think, people have to buy. Think about the people that have to move across country or for their job or whatever it is. Their mom's sick and they want to be closer to home. Their rates, if you get a 5% interest rate right now or something in the 5s, that's actually really good. I've seen a lot of companies, high 6s, in the 7s, even the high 7s for good credit. And if you're trying to buy a rental property, forget about it. You're like high 7s and paying like 3 points to get that rate. It doesn't make sense. What this has also done is it's raised rent tremendous. Apartment, you can't even get an apartment for $1,500
No,
here.
I think 1800s, about 17 or 1800s norm.
Oh my gosh,
On average,
that's insane.
in Arizona.
That's insane. People, wages aren't up. How can you afford that? Especially if you have kids. The easy answer, you don't.
You don't. I mean, and the country doesn't have money for programs or anything to help with this. It's just prices have to go down somehow. We inflated the money supply so much, and wages didn't go up. Well, they went up a little bit, not significant to where inflation is with prices and cost of living is. And now there's a little retraction to it, but it's still not retracting fast enough for people to have a decent living now.
No, you're 100% correct on that, and you're right about the government doesn't have enough programs to help people. That's a sad reality we live in. That a lot of those programs are off the board. So what do? You get a second job, and then what if that's not enough? I mean, there's just people. The food banks are getting bigger, and I'm a big advocate of help out the food banks. Because there's a lot of people that their rents went up. Gas is a lot. They don't have enough to buy food for their family, so they go to these food banks, getting the extra scraps and stuff. And I if you want to do something good, go donate to the food banks. It's going to a good cause, you know?
Canned foods,
and just to help out with donations, because that's something we believe in is food banks, because you can't have starving kids. You can't. Once you have that, I mean, you as a parent, you start doing things that are in the gray. not
Yeah.
not necessarily in the black, but in the gray. You start, and it sucks, but that's what you do as human beings, right?
Yeah. So I believe that with the upcoming commercial real estate crisis that's coming up, if they don't figure something out now, this could trickle down to real estate, single family homes. Reason why I believe that is that if there's no more money being lent for mortgages, if they're going default, banks are going to start going down and tightening up the money supply to lend, and because of that, that will affect housing.
Yes, I see where you're going with that. You're right. If there's a lot of default on the commercial side, the residential side is going to take a hit because it's going to get tighter to get into a house, right? You're going to have higher down payments, or you have higher credit scores. It'll be the guidelines will get tightened as far as that.
This is what I think, because inventory is so low. That's why prices are still high for houses.
Of course.
That's the one thing that's really holding up inflation today. But if money starts getting tighter and it's becoming more difficult to borrow to get a mortgage, and less people are able to qualify for a mortgage, there's no other choice but the inventory to go up in housing, and which could aid in reducing the prices of these homes.
Well, I think one thing why I think inventory is low is people don't want to sell their house because they have a low rate.
That too.
Right?
I believe that too.
I
Yeah, why do you want to give up a 2%
I just had
or
a phone
3%?
call with someone today that has a 2.5 interest rates, wants to get another house or a different house. And I was like, dude, here's your rate. You're like a 7%. And he's like, why would I do this? I'm like, why are we talking? Like, why would you give up this house to get something else? You're at 2.5. Rent it out. If you really want to move and buy something, rent that out at 2.5 and go buy the house at 7 and call it a day. But he doesn't want. He's so stuck on the 2.5. You're not going to see that. You're not going to qualify for another house just because you had it once. You know, a lot of people don't understand how that works. All you have to do is call your lender. You know, or call someone you trust. Again, this isn't financial advice whatsoever, but that's one reason why you're seeing inventory low. People don't want to buy another house because their interest is low. Like I said, 2.5, they have great credit, A+ credit, and their lender tells them, oh yeah, you're at 7%. They're like, no, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't like that house.
Yeah, there was a cycle where people would go up in a house, right? Just they have a house, they get some equity, get some money, sell for a little bit more than what they purchased it for, move somewhere else. But that cycle is over because people are stuck at that very low rate and they don't want to give it up.
Well, you got to look at it this way too. People used to refinance their house to buy another property, right? You can't do that now. 2.5, why would you refinance your house from 2.5?
That's not an option right now. Refinance
not
is not an option.
Yeah, HELOC is. Go get a home equity line of credit. Yeah, the rate's high, but you're not refinancing the whole house. You're only going to take $100,000 out to go buy another property, but then the other property you're buying, you have to put 20% down, and the rate's going to be 7%, 8%, since in the investment home. So it's just tough right now as far as that's concerned. But the inventory, you know, what if that's the new norm? You know, our inventory numbers were high. I think we're like, they used to be quadruple what they are now, but maybe it's because the rates. Time will tell, because we've never seen rates this low. That maybe now people are like, okay, I'm good where I'm at. I don't need to get that extra stress and buy more house or whatever, because you're not going to get much more at all, if any, value going into a 5% interest rate for a house that's a little bit bigger, but you're paying double for that. That's not worth it, you know?
No. I've been house hunting lately, and it's ridiculous how expensive homes are. Just to find a decent home. I'm not asking for very much, like 3-bedroom, 2-bath, whatever. They're so expensive, especially.
What's the
here in
price you're
Phoenix.
looking at? What are you seeing out there?
So I'm looking like way east in like Santan Valley. There you can get a house for in the $370K for decent. Because here in the, you know, in like Chandler, a lot of places in Phoenix, Gilbert, you're looking at mid 400s for maybe decent. It's more. Maybe up to 500s last time I checked. I just gave up looking in this area. It's so expensive. And it's just not worth it. It's just like those houses have no business being that expensive, but they are. A lot of them, people bought it last year or the year before at a very high cost, and they're just trying to sell it for a profit. They're not in the game to lose money. No one is. I understand that. But they're just hanging on, being resistant as much as possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's got to give because housing prices are too dang expensive. But I could see them go up higher. To be honest, I could see them going lower. It all depends on what's going on in the world, right?
I mean, houses are being cut. It's just from the rate from where the price increased to how much they've been cut so far have not broke even yet.
Can
They're
you
still
pull
expensive.
something up that has like what the prices are the last couple of years?
Sure. Should we look at some houses real quick and just see
Yeah.
get some examples? Okay, let me pull this one up. Chandler, Arizona.
Let's do Chandler, where I live.
Okay, so
Chandler, Gilbert area, the two good spots in the East Valley.
let's just look at the first house. This 725K.
All right.
So
Let's look at this. Okay, it's 3-car garage. It's nice. This is kind of a big driveway.
Mhm.
Very boring front yard. Just rocks.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else we got?
It's 2,986 square feet.
Good size.
Lot size is 8,375.
Okay.
Good area of Chandler. Let's see, scroll down a little bit. So this is where the listing price was. A lot of it's blank.
Look at
They're asking for 725,000, but it was sold November 2021, so that's a year and a half ago, at 575,000.
Correct.
So this person's trying to make a $150,000 profit
So
off
this
this
is a
in a year and a half.
Yeah. This guy bought it. Did probably a little bit to the house.
And if I scroll down, the last number we can really see from 2022, 225,000 is what it
Wow.
cost back then. This is well before the financial crisis. I mean, given now that it's this house is 23 years old with appreciation. I mean, what would it really be worth today? Should it be maybe 400s?
You would think. Go up a little bit. Look at right there. Stop right there. 2012.
This is the bottom of the housing crisis. So 287,000, still above from when it first came out, right?
Because it sold for right there in 2009. We were in the housing crisis. It sold for 258, and then a couple.
But housing bottom at 2012. Stock market and everything crashed in 2008, but the bottom of the housing market was 2012.
Okay, so 287, and then it's coming up. So 10 years later, it more than doubled, right? Yeah, more than doubled.
They bought it for more than double. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but shouldn't it be about 15% to 20% appreciation? I mean, of course, there's a lot of
Appreciation usually
factors.
is
There's a lot of
10%
factors to
a
it.
year.
I get it.
10% a year.
10% a year.
Yeah, 10%.
So it should double within 10 years.
Yeah, I get. Well,
There's other factors like the location, what's
Yeah.
being built, the neighborhoods. I get all that, but I'd say on average, I thought it would be like maybe with the flow of inflation of 2% a year.
no, housing goes up a lot more than that. It goes up. Depending on where it's at, anywhere from 5 to 10% on the average. On something like that, I don't know. To me, it's maybe $500,000 house.
Right now, if you were like, say, an appraiser, I don't know. Sure. There's the comps like what the houses sell in the area too.
There's nothing really too exciting about the front of the house.
Just looking through it real quick. 3-car garage. It looks really nice inside. But for something in Arizona, really,
They painted it and looks like laminate flooring, nothing too great.
I
DIY
noticed in
bathroom.
house hunting, if a house is repainted, they just try to jack up the valuation as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because it looks nice.
It looks nice, but paint's expensive too, though, now.
Well, yeah, materials and everything is expensive.
Yeah. It looks like brand new carpet. It's not bad. It's not 700,000. It's 500.
It's a $500,000 home.
Yeah, it's $500,000.
I'd say so. I'd say so.
Again, but that in Scottsdale is probably $1 million.
Well, location, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to look at another house? Let's
Look at that, 1.75.
1.75.
Yeah, pull that up. 3749.
It's a huge house. Look at that island.
That house is $800,000 house before COVID.
Let's look. Let me scroll down here. So before COVID.
There it is. Yep. 885. Sold 885 2020.
Yeah. At 2018, 835.
835. See, I told you.
They sold it for a little profit in 2020, right? This is like when things were really heating up in,
Yep.
in COVID, right? And then it's been listed and then sold for the same price, essentially. Oh no, this is like same data. Never mind. But then, oh my God. So 2020,
They want double
885.
almost. Yeah.
They want double. Like, come on, man. Like, 3 years, does it really need
Yeah,
to
that's just
appreciate
someone
double?
that's greedy. That's someone that's greedy.
Like, that is ridiculous.
Well, there's always a method to someone's madness. They'll tell you, "Oh, I did this, this, and that." Oh, did you create the lake in the backyard too? Like what? That's a lot of money, you know. No, that's an $800,000 house. There you go. I like this. What is this?
So this
Pull
is
that
the Redfin data that you can pull up. So I pulled up Phoenix. So there's a lot of data we could look at. So first we could look at like new listings.
All right, you're a numbers guy. Let's go ahead and explain what you got.
This page just refreshed. So let me just pull up Phoenix again. So I'm comparing data all the way back to 2020. And I'm looking at new listings, right? Listing is still lower than the past 3 years. There's a little uptick. We could go either way. Plus, we're in the spring sales too. But still, year over year, it's still negative 28% of new listings. Right now, it's at as of
Well, it's going up just like it did last year.
like it did last year
Yeah, it's going up.
and the years prior, right? But then in 2020 had a dip,
Yeah, it had a nice
and
dip.
the summer dip.
Yeah.
But last year, it kept going up.
Yep. And then it dipped at the end.
Oh yeah, it's significantly dipping. Now, homes sold in the Phoenix area. So as you can see, year
Wow.
over year,
29%.
negative 29%, right? Compared to last year, there was over 2,000 homes sold for that period.
Yep.
So homes sold. So what is it? Just that week, or the month? For the month, right? Where it says start date of March 13th through April 9th.
Yep. That's how many houses were sold at that time.
So much less than last year. But of course, we have to see what the inventory is. Let me scroll through this.
I mean, just a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, like no one did open houses, and people were, do you remember that? Like people were selling houses just on pictures. Like, here's what the house looks like. Do you want to buy it?
People bought houses like it was something on Amazon.
Yeah, it was crazy. Now all my buddies are doing open houses on the weekends. They're Saturday, Sundays. They're at open houses.
What are they doing at
They're
open
buying
houses?
cookies. They're buying sandwiches. They're doing videos. I had one friend do mimosas. Like, come out and get some mimosas. They're feeling the pinch. They're feeling the pinch. I sat in an open house with a buddy of mine, and there was no one there. No one came.
So here's this bit here is the medium sell price of homes. Right now, there's a little uptake of 432K. Of course, it's spring season, right? But still negative 9% from year over year, because last year they wanted on median price 473K. But in 2021 it was around 373K. So it's still really hot.
Well, to your case, a lot of people have to move back out. Before, it used to be Queen Creek, Maricopa. Those were the houses to buy back in 2005, 2002, 3, whatever. Now it's Santan, Casa Grande. It depends on how which way you want to say it. But I think Santan Valley is a good spot to go. There's supposed to be a lot of companies moving out there, a lot of warehouses, a lot of tech supposedly going out there. Plus, you're connected to Queen Creek, so there's still a lot of stuff to do out there. Casa Grande, you're right off the I-10. You can go visit people in the East Valley. It takes 30 minutes, but you're still pretty easy.
So my realtor or my agent was telling me about Casa Grande that they can't prove like 100 years worth of water there in those areas.
Okay.
So the properties, the loophole, typically you can't construct more homes there. But I guess there's a loophole about the houses there are going to be intended for rentals. That's why they can get away with it. Something along that line.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So that's why certain areas going west, like Buckeye, they had to stop constructing more homes because of the water supply issue. So they can't prove 100 years worth of water supply in those areas.
Wow. I'll be dead, so I don't care.
I know.
Like, why do I care? My kids will be dead. They don't care. Like, we'll probably be taken over by aliens by then. Like, I don't, 100 years, I get it that they're worried about that. You should be more worried about what's going on today. There will be no tomorrow if you don't take care of what's going on today. You know, figure out a way to get water. You got 100 years to figure it out. You tell me the brightest minds in the world can't figure that out?
I'm going to bring up this graph again because the new listing medium price.
Oh, it's gone down.
It's going down now, finally, because before it used to match what last year was.
Oh, I see it right there. Right there, and then boom.
Right here.
Right there.
About
when was that?
March
That was
19th, 20th. That was kind of the last time where they're about
End of
similar
March.
prices, and then it's starting to dip down with the
Oh.
new listing median prices.
That's not good.
So hopefully,
Wait to buy.
I'm hoping that this blue line right here, which represents 2023, crosses this orange line that represents 2021. Now, how fast? I mean, if it stays in this trajectory, maybe after summer,
Could be.
soon as fall.
But your agent will tell you, oh, it's the best time to buy right now.
I know.
Dude, calm down.
That's the thing. Like, although I'm looking for a house, people I'm talking to who are encouraging me to get a house, I'm getting the pressure of you have to buy now, buy now, buy now. I mean, they obviously want to make the commission / bonuses, whatever you want to call it.
That's how they get paid, correct?
I do worry that if I were to buy today, I'll be underwater next year.
You might be. But that's okay. Let's talk about that. Do you care if you're upside down if you got the house you want, knowing that it will go back up down the road?
Well, how soon?
I mean, what if it's 3
Does it
years,
ever?
4 years, 5 years, then you break even, but then you're going back up? It's just like investments, right? Like your portfolio, your stocks and stuff like that. You bought and it dipped, and you're like, dang it. Takes a while for it to, for you to be even, and then it goes back up. That's the way you got to look at it. Unless, I don't know, for me, I wouldn't mind as long as I got the house I want in the neighborhood and great neighbors and I feel safe. Because that's the number one thing you care about. Do you feel safe in your neighborhood? But, hey, let's flip over, if you don't mind. What do you say? We talk about the NBA playoffs.
Yeah. Anything in particular that's on your mind right now?
That's why I have a Suns hat. Pull up a bracket. Let's go over it in detail. Perfect. Let's look at what we have in the Western Conference first, because I don't care about the East. Nuggets versus Timberwolves should be a laydown. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, Denver's going to win that one easily. What do you think?
I think if I were to predict my predictions.
Go on, Nostradamus.
Yeah, Denver should win that one.
I think that's the easiest one in the Western Conference to call. Timberwolves have no business in the playoffs, in my opinion. No business even winning one game against the Nuggets, but that's an easy one. Let's go to the one we care about, Suns at Clippers, and the first game's today. Today.
I'm going to watch it right after this podcast.
I am going to watch it after this podcast and enjoy watching it. I think the Suns win, but I think the Clippers might sneak in 1 or 2 wins.
Maybe, but I think the Suns will win this one. I'm not going to say it's a sweep, but they should win this. Yet, remember, the Suns haven't lost with Kevin Durant yet. But that was regular season. We're talking about postseason. So
what if they can do it through the postseason?
Let's talk about that more a little bit as we go through this bracket. Let's talk about the other team, Kings and Warriors. What do you think about them? Warriors won yesterday, by the way.
Warriors won or the Kings won?
I was tricking you.
I think
it's even right here.
I think the Kings won.
Sacramento won, yeah. Sacramento won.
Yeah, there you go. Kings won that game because I saw a thing on there, and maybe it was like an April Fool's joke that they won. But I want the Kings to win because I think the Warriors right now, they're getting healthy. It would give the Suns a hell of a series. Would give them, but it also makes for a good fit, like a good story, right? Kevin Durant versus his old team.
The Warriors?
Yeah,
maybe. I mean, that's one of many teams, though.
True, but I see. But let's be honest. I think the Warriors would find it find a way to win this series. So I give it to the Warriors.
Okay. You give the Warriors this one.
Yeah, I
Okay.
give them the series.
I say Kings, so I differ
Okay,
there.
we'll see.
Okay, so all right, Grizzlies and Lakers.
They're playing right now. Is there any way you can see what the score is? I can pull it up if I have to.
I can pull it up on this website right now as we speak.
Yeah, let's see what the score is, and then I'll make my prediction after that score. Just kidding. Boom! I knew it. Lakers won. Wow! They took one in Memphis. Lakers win that series.
They'll win the series against
I
Grizzlies.
was gonna pick them anyways, because I think something happened when
They
LeBron
beat
got
them
injured.
in Memphis, by the way. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, they beat him in Memphis, so the home field advantage is gone.
Don't they have another game in Memphis?
Yeah, but even if they win, the Lakers have 3 games at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see them losing at home. I think LeBron right now, I'll be honest, I'm a LeBron fan. I think now that it's the playoffs, just like the Warriors, they turn it up a notch. Because now it's like, okay, the 82-game season's done. I'm going to turn it up because it's the playoffs. This is what it's all about.
I remember you mentioned that towards the end of the season that the Lakers were looking good. So I might have to agree with you that just this series, the Lakers could beat the Grizzlies.
I could see the Lakers win this series and maybe even beat the Warriors next series. Maybe. Or if it's the Kings, I think they beat up the Kings easily. If it's the Warriors, it'll be pretty... I'm going to have to flip a coin for that when we talk about it.
All right, let's. You want to talk about Eastern Conference?
Yeah, we have to make it even. There's some fans on here that like the Eastern Conference. So Bucks Heat, it's the Bucks.
Bucks, I
can't-
agree.
I like the Heat, but it's the Bucks, man. I like Jimmy Buckets. He's one of my favorite players, but the Bucks take it.
Bucks do take it. They're on fire.
They're a well-oiled machine,
On fire. Like, it's scary
and
right
that's
now.
my pick for the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mine too.
Yeah, easily.
Um,
Why are we
Cavs
talking
and
about
Knicks.
why are we talking about the rest?
let's just have fun with this.
Okay. Cavs and Knicks.
Knicks are in the lead.
I want to see the Knicks win because I think NBA is good when you have New York at a high level. As far as I believe Cleveland can win that series only because I like their young players. But again, I could see Cleveland winning, but I want the Knicks, if that makes sense.
I will go with the Knicks as well.
All right?
All right, so 76ers and Nets.
Oof. I got to go Nets because they have Brooklyn Bridges. I was such a big fan of his in Phoenix, and
Same.
is tearing it up in Brooklyn, so I love that. 76ers are good, though. Joel Embiid is the truth, so I could see – I want the Nets to win, but I see 76ers winning it.
I'm there. I'm I'm not a Nets fan now because Bridges is there now and Johnson. Some of my favorite players in the Suns before they got traded. So I'm watching the games more, but I want to say the Nets, but I think the 76ers are going to take
Same.
the series.
I'm
Not a sweep.
Yeah.
I'd say 6 games.
Yep. Let's get to the last meaningless game in that division.
Celtics and Hawks.
Celtics all day. Hawks have no business in the playoffs. Same thing with the Timberwolves. Those are the 2 teams that I'm like, what are you doing?
I'm going to go with an upset on this one.
You're crazy.
I'm going to say the Hawks are going to just squeeze this one through.
Against the Celtics? What's your reasoning? Did someone die on the
No,
Celtics?
no. They had a little bump in the road. They lost their number 1 spot, but they figured themselves out again. But
Now they have a chip on their shoulder
what chip on the shoulder?
that they're not number 1.
So you think it makes them more hungry?
You got to be hungry.
Maybe.
Jaylen Brown's great.
Oh, they're all great. I'm not disputing that
I like
part.
Smart. He's a good head-up player. So I see the Celtics and the Bucks are my conference final. That's the conference final game I want to see.
1 and 2, easy enough.
Dude, that's a championship fight right there.
All right. I'm going to say Hawks, you say Celtics. All
All
right,
right.
let's go to conference semifinals. So Nuggets versus the Suns, we say?
Oh, I hate that. I hate that we have to play Denver, but we can beat Denver. So I'm going Suns.
I worry about the Suns being injury prone throughout the postseason.
Well, if that happens, it's over. It's over.
Like if they can stay everyone, their starters, everyone healthy, I think they can win it all the way. But just all it takes is one player to be injured and
Correct.
to miss enough games to lose one of the rounds.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. As long as that injured player is not Booker or Durant, you're good.
So you're okay
I'm okay with Paul going
with
down.
Ayton and
I'm
Paul?
okay with Ayton going down.
That's hard because if Aiden goes down, you get Biombo. Biombo's great
Bianco,
defensively.
yeah, he'll turn it up.
He's great defensively. I love him defensively. He blocks a lot. Solid backup. But then the backup to him is Landell. And Landell's not as aggressive as I was hoping for him to be.
Yeah, but he is still an NBA center. And at the end of the day, what? He's going to play 10 minutes?
Sure.
I'm fine with that.
All right. So if it goes to Nuggets, Suns, who do you pick?
Suns.
Suns? Okay, I pick Suns too. This is where we differ a little bit, but let's say it's Warriors and then Lakers.
I want to see Lakers because I want to see Lakers Suns in the final. And the Suns just beat up on them. And honestly, I don't care if it's the Warriors and we beat up on the Warriors. I'd rather see the Lakers, but I think it's going to be the Warriors.
Okay. I said it, the Kings are going to beat the Warriors and Lakers. I think the Kings will beat the Lakers.
I can see that.
All right, back here. So Bucks and Knicks. We both agreed to that.
Bucks.
Bucks,
So
right.
that's passed. So then you got Nets and...
Well, I said 76ers, but you think Nets? No,
No, I said 76ers. We both said
that.
76ers because we
So-
want the Nets, but it's not going
Okay,
to happen.
76ers and Celtics. You think Celtics, right?
That's hard. That's a good game right there. It's 50-50. It could be either or. Neither of them are going to beat the Bucks. So I'll say Celtics,
Okay.
but
I think it's going to be 76ers and Hawks,
All right.
and I'll say
I
76ers for
knew you were
that.
going to say that.
But I think that's as far as the Hawks will go, I believe. All right, let's go to the conference finals. So it's going to be Denver. We both agree to that.
No, we said
No,
Suns.
Just kidding. Suns. And what'd you have? Lakers
I had Lakers.
or Warriors?
I had Warriors.
No, you had Warriors and Suns. That'd be a great conference
It'd be
finals.
great. Well, it's because it's conference finals. You're going to have the two best teams in the West, which I think the West is superior to that weak East conference. I think Suns in 7. I think they make it one hell of a series. I think it's a title fight, and I think that is going to be better. It's going to be a better product than the NBA Finals.
I believe it's going to be Suns and Kings. And I think it's going to be Suns and 5.
Okay.
All right. So conference finals for the East. Bucks, and you say Celtics.
Bucks go.
Bucks go. For me, it's Bucks and 76ers. I think Bucks go. So we both can agree that's going to be Bucks and Suns.
Yeah. That's a
Again,
hell of a series.
from 2 years ago.
That's a hell of a series. And the Suns were up 2-0. That's the saddest part. And wasn't it 2-0 and they won 2 in Milwaukee and they came home?
All right, 2 years ago. Okay, if we're going to flash back to that, yeah, they won the first 2 games. And they just lost after that. 4 in a row.
Yep.
Like, what happened there? Did the Bucks just figure out their formula?
The training
What's-
wheels fell off. They didn't know how to ride a bike.
Like, I don't know what happened to that series. I mean, it's 2 years ago. I'm still have a chip on my shoulder about that.
Everyone does. Every Suns fan, especially with last year losing early in the playoffs, but they had to go get Durant. They needed that loss to go get someone big.
So that is where we think it's going to happen. Suns take it all.
I think Suns win. I think they beat the Bucks 6. I don't think they'll make it as dramatic as the Western Conference Final.
Okay. I think it's going to go to Game 7. This is a rematch.
Yeah.
I think it'll go to Game 7.
I think it's a special rematch. I think that's what maybe the NBA wants.
Don't tell me they're going to rig it.
I hope they rig it for that. I'm on board for that. I don't know. The whole rigging thing it could be real. I don't know. What's next? What's next on the agenda there? Oh, no one at the senior level of Bud Light knew of Dylan Mulvaney's ad campaign.
Oh, this is where Bud Light is backtracking.
This is where Bud Light's. So if you don't know, Bud Light put up Dylan Mulvaney, who had no idea who that was until all this surfaced up. There we go, Dylan. There you are.
It's a dude dressed as a chick.
Is it a transgender or is it just a dude dressed up as a chick?
I don't know, but hey, you know what? That guy's having
Good
time.
You know,
let him be. Who cares? I honestly don't care.
You know, I don't drink Bud Light, so I really don't care.
Well,
Is that safe to say?
I don't think it matters.
Yeah.
I mean, I just heard a lot of people stop purchasing Bud Light, protesting against Bud Light. A lot of bars stopped purchasing Bud Light.
Yes, I did see that.
A lot of ads can't, they don't want Bud Light anymore. Anything to do with
they
Bud
lost
Light.
advertisement money because a lot of the stations are like, we don't want to roll with.
We
your
don't want to
commercial.
accept your money, Bud Light.
Yeah, we don't want to accept your money. We don't want to do any campaigns. I saw the whole. Did you see Kid Rock shoot up all those Bud Light bottles?
No, what did he do?
Oh, so Kid Rock went on and shot up. They had a bunch of Bud Light things. I think it was on YouTube or something. And he shot him up. And he's like, F you, Bud Light, and F you, Anheuser-Busch. And I'm thinking to myself, he's not just one. There's a couple other people that did the same thing, that they bought a bunch of Bud Light and they ran them over in one of those big old, like, road steam things, whatever. I'm thinking to myself, but you purchased that Bud Light, right?
Right.
Like, you bought it to destroy it. Like, what are you doing, right? So, yeah, pull up Bud Light. There you go. You got it right there. Can we show that clip? No, right? We get in trouble.
Is it something with YouTube, maybe?
I think it's something with YouTube. They won't show you. But pull up just a photo, like the photo of Kid Rock. Just look how old he is.
Let me just search without YouTube or any
Yeah.
reference to
But going
YouTube.
back to the Dylan Mulvaney thing, why you do that, like, I don't care. Like, do what you want. And it's just... I get where people are saying, "Oh, they're pushing this." I know they're pushing it because they won't let you push Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a double standard. It's like, why are you pushing this, but you won't let us push that? If you're gonna do that, like, let's pull that sucker up. Can you pull it up? There you go.
I'm sure you can. It's Fox News.
It's Fox News. So you can pull up the clip.
Yeah,
It's up.
like there's something here.
Check it out.
Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today.
Calls himself Grandpa.
Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible.
He's old.
Terrible accuracy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you don't need accuracy when you have a ton of clips and bullets and rounds and all that good stuff, right? You just destroy everything. I thought that was comical. I didn't know it was a serious ad until, like, reading about it. But let's pull up Alyssa. There we go, Alyssa. There you are. That's the Bud Light's vice president of marketing, who said the company needed to update its fratty and out of touch image. Appeared to have enjoyed taking part in the same culture while attending Harvard University. So there's pictures of her on the internet. I've seen them before, of her drinking Bud Light in a frat or with frat guys, this and that. That's your audience. You're not going to, all of a sudden, Bud Light's not going to be like the drink of choice at a nice restaurant or a nice steakhouse, right? Mm-hmm. Even you go to, like, Cold Beer's Cheeseburger over here, no one gets that. I get Scottsdale Blonde is my drink of choice, or 805. Those are my two go-to beers. What are yours?
I don't know if I have a go-to beer. It typically a light beer. I mean, I would drink a Bud Light. I just don't care. Or Coors Light, Miller Lite. Typically a light beer. Maybe sometimes a Samuel Adams.
Okay.
But I mean, I also don't drink that much. I know I don't fit the stereotype of a sailor anymore, but it's typically going to be a light beer. I'll drink PBR. I don't care.
All right. So Danny has no balls. Just kidding. Let's talk about Dylan though. I want to stay on Dylan and the whole transgender.
Who is Dylan? I don't know.
Dylan Mulvaney might just be an actor. And they're pushing this. Obviously, this Bud Light thing failed, right? Because I have friends, in the gay community. I know a couple of transgenders that are transitioning. None of them, not only don't drink Bud Light, they don't drink beer. They drink Cosmos. Maybe a whiskey, but mostly like Cosmos and fruity drinks, So I don't know why they thought Dylan Mulvaney would be great for Bud Light. Maybe Bud Light Seltzer would have been the right move for Bud Light to do because it's still Bud Light. And a lot of people drink that seltzer stuff. I don't like the seltzer. I don't find it appealing. When I see guys drink it, I'm like, cool.
That's
That's not
Dylan
my-
Mulvaney is an American actress, comedian, and TikTok personality.
Oh, she's a real actress.
She is known for detailing her gender transition in daily videos on social media platform TikTok since early 2022. In October 2022, Mulvaney spoke for U.S. President Joe Biden at the White House about transgender rights. As of April 2023, she has more than 10 million followers on TikTok, while her video series Days of Girlhood has received over 1 billion views.
Let's talk about that for a second. Transgender rights. Wouldn't that just be human rights? Like, why do we have to call it transgender rights?
I guess it's more specific, more narrow.
Why?
I don't know. It's just-
Kind of like LGBT rights?
I mean,
What are those
Okay.
rights? Those are human rights. Like a good person, if you're a good person, a normal society shouldn't give, you're transgender, you should have different rights than a regular human. Maybe like extra rights.
what damage is Dylan Mulvaney causing to society that warrants this type of backlash?
I think it's, we're going down a rabbit hole. This whole transgender thing, they're saying it's dividing society. Because if you're a church-going person, right, like, they don't believe in this, right? Like, this is something that's just happened recently. And I have friends that believe that you could be born in a different body. And I'm like, okay, we can have that argument. I'm not for or against, but, I think there's only two genders, man and woman, right? Period.
But then they get to the details of, like, there's a difference between sex and gender. So gender could be like a million different things, while sex there are
Since
two.
when? Like, what's the science?
They like to twist and distort the science. My biology book says different.
But exactly. So you're telling me all this stuff we learn in school for hundreds of years is wrong? And all of a
Yeah.
sudden you found the right information and going against the science?
Yeah, because it's all about feelings, how they feel.
I feel like a millionaire, but I don't see it.
I know.
I'm rich, but I don't have money. Again, I don't think I'm the right person to argue for or against, right? Because you can distort the information, this and that. Obviously, if you watch the show and you're in our family, we have gays, transgenders in our family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's tough at first, like, I'll tell you a story real quick. Like, I don't think this is appropriate for the story, but anyways, we have a family member. I don't want to say who they are because unless they tell me, it's all right to say who they are. It was different. I wasn't shocked. I wasn't like, oh, you shouldn't do this, do that. I'm all about do you and what you feel makes you happy, right? But don't tell me I'm doing it wrong. That's all I care about. Don't tell me I don't have my kid's best interest. Don't tell me that you can do stuff without my permission if they're living under my roof. Mm-hmm. No one knows your kids better than the parents. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're telling me that these kids can get surgeries at 13, let them smoke. Let them play the lotto.
Mm-hmm.
Let them shoot a gun. It's the same dang thing, don't you think?
I mean, I'm not a parent, but kids are still learning. Kids change their minds all the time.
All the time. Just because they put on a dress doesn't mean they're gay or they're transgender.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That it doesn't mean that. It's just they don't know. They're just trying something out.
Yeah, see if it works out for them. I mean, just because your kid comes out gay as 13 doesn't mean they're going to be gay forever. There's so many people I know who've thought that, and then they changed their mind when they're an adult.
I called out my nephew. He was gay at a young age. I knew it from day one. Day one, I knew it. I love him to death. Ender, love you to death. He had qualities that I saw. You know, being around like gay people, I knew. Mm-hmm. I know the characteristics and all that. He had them at a young age, and I was like,
Well, you said he was around gay people.
no,
all
I
the time?
was. I used to work at the Biltmore in Phoenix at a restaurant. There's so many gay dudes in there, and that's another story. And it opened up my eyes for the first time I've been around. That's actually the first time I've been around gay people. Is the Biltmore, and at that large, because it's really gay friendly out there. And I had one friend, Jack, that I worked with. Awesome guy. Super gay.
Very flamboyant.
Very
gay.
flamboyant. He'd hit on me, and that's like the first time I felt like, oh my god, now I know how women feel. Like when you're trying to hit on them and you don't like them, they don't like you, and you're not getting a hint. That was Jack. But I love Jack to death. Jack is still a friend of mine. He's in very, very successful real estate, like $1 million home real estate. Like he's a great dude. I love him to death. But a lot of clientele would come in. You know, they were just very flamboyant, and you know they're great people. But I saw it in my nephew, and it didn't, you know, didn't bother me at all. I was like, oh, he shows characteristics. I don't think I never told his mom that. I think I told my wife that. I go, yeah, he's gay. And she goes, how do you know? You just know. You've been around it long enough. Characteristics.
Mannerisms.
Mannerism, characteristics, nothing wrong with it. He's a good-looking dude, too. My nephew, Endor, is a freaking model. Like, he could be a model. He's a good-looking guy. He's going to find a good-looking dude, whatever. Maybe a sugar daddy is what I'm seeing, but he's up in Montana or something in the wilderness. But he's a very good-looking guy. But you can just tell. I don't think you shake it. I think 90% of the kids don't shake that. I think you're attracted to a certain thing when you're 13, 14. It's also your surroundings too, right?
So you don't think that being gay could have once been a phase for someone until
I've heard
they
stories
grow
that
up a little bit
yeah.
more, and then
Yeah, you're right. There's people that go that route and then they change. I know someone very close that you're right. They went that route and they're not anymore. So
I mean, there's a lot of stories with gender trans.
but that was with a girl. Like I know a girl that like was dating chicks and then she's now dating guys. So maybe that was just a phase. That's harder for a guy though.
I think it is because like if a guy kisses another guy, I think that will change his life forever.
Yeah.
For women that kiss their girlfriends, it doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't mean anything.
That's my personal
because that's like
opinion.
normal. Remember, like Girls Gone Wild back in the day? Like that was normal. Like oh my gosh, you see the commercial on the thing, you see chicks kissing, you're like, oh my god, who do I call? $8.99 a video? Let's do it. But that's normal. You see it on a nightly. You go to the club, you see it all the time. But now when you see a dude kiss another dude, I think that's life changing. I think that guy likes guys. You can't just turn around and say, yeah. You could say I'm bi. There's people that are bi.
You can't just say for a guy like, oh man, I was drunk, I kissed another dude. Oh,
I don't
God.
think. I think once you cross the line, you can't come back if you're a guy. Right?
You can't block that out.
No, you
Move
can't
forward.
block that out. Like, no, you can't block that out. No, I wouldn't be able to block it out. I don't know. I don't know. I just, it's all preference, right? It's just like pizza. My son likes pineapple on his pizza, and I'm like, ugh. It's the same thing. You like a dude? Cool. I don't. I love women. Especially my wife. So I think that's where we are right now as far as that whole thing is it's a big thing right now. A lot of people are scared, not scared, but pushing back on it. And, you know, it is what it is. I hear both sides of the story. I get it. But for those that are transgender, you know, if that's what you want, that's what you should be able to do the surgeries at 18 and above. My personal opinion.
I think 18
I
is
think
still
you need
too
to grow
young.
up. Yeah, 18 is still young, but if they go from 12 years old to 18, they had good 6 years, and they know that's what they are, who they want to be.
Maybe it should be a long process. Like if you're 18, you're like, I want to transition with the operations. Check back in next year. Do you still feel this
No,
way?
you should go to counseling, like
I wouldn't say
kinda like
counseling. It's just, are you sure? Because once you do
Education.
this, you can't go
You
back.
need to be educated because you're not coming back from this process.
And there's so many
I'm putting
transgenders who regret that
There's
decision.
There's a lot, but the media doesn't play it. They don't want to talk about it. I just saw one the other day. Next time I'll bring it up. Next time this guy that transitioned wants to sue because they let him do it without his parents' permission, and now he's a 25-year-old man who sounds and looks like a chick. Not all the way, but regrets it and tries to educate people on why you shouldn't do it. And if you do it, you got to understand, once they cut your wiener, that's gone. You ain't going to get another one. You ain't going to get the sensation back.
Yeah, not the sensation, but they do grow it back. And it's a weird thing where they just grow it off your leg and they attach it on. Like I've seen stories with
That's some
females,
Black Mirror stuff.
female going to males. I
Wow.
mean, they'll only perfect the technology.
Well, they can get, I mean, they have the technology to make it hard. So if you want to be intimate, but do you get the sensation?
I don't know.
They'll create a way to do that too, I guess. This is a weird times we live in, but again, it's not for me, but if that's where you're stuck and that's where you feel, then you should do it. But for me, I just think you need to be educated.
Like, where do we cross the line? If you just want to be,
The parents need to know. Plain and simple. The parents need to know.
I mean, do we draw the line when there's operation involved?
Oh, 100%. That's when you get involved when there's no coming back. If you do something you can't come back from.
I mean, that's what I was saying. Like,
Even the testosterone, taking the testosterone.
to be approved with like testosterone and all that, it should be like a long time to think about it. Be like, you're 22. Hey, I want to transition. Okay, come back next year. Hey, I want to transition. Okay, come back next year. You know what?
You
I
got
don't
to take
want
these
anymore.
classes. If you want to do it, you got to take these classes, come back, we'll talk.
What are those classes and who designs it though? It's just someone really needs to think about it. Like a long time to think.
Again, the people doing the classes might be pro because the surgeries are expensive. Probably not covered by insurance, right?
Because not right now. No.
Not right now,
But
see?
it's just one analogy is people change career paths all the time. And that's not like one day I want to change it. It's like, you know what? My current career path that I went to college for, spent 4 years on, is not working out. I'm going to try something else. And they succeed in that area. Or some people stay in that, what they studied for. But it takes a long time to think about that. And I think the transition thing should be the same. You have to really think about it because once you do it, it's a heavy price.
It's not coming back, you're right.
And you need to make sure you're going to be happy with that decision. No remorse for it. Like you've had the surgery, 1 year later you have regrets. The big thing is the regrets.
There's a lot that
worry
have
about.
regrets, though.
I know that's what I fear, though. I don't want them to
And they're
regret the
and they're-
decision. That's what I'm trying to prevent. Is I don't want them to regret the decision. I want them to be happy with what they are. If it requires them to transition to an operation and then they're happy forever, great. But I do worry that many of them will regret their decision.
Well, I think they make them out to be heroes and, oh, you're so brave, you're doing this and that. And they're getting the attention they never had before, right? And then once they have the surgery, they're kicked away. Like, okay, you're done. You're done. Move along. Next person. Oh,
Thanks
you're
for the
brave.
check.
Next person. Oh, you're in transition. You're brave. You're brave. Just like that one person that I forgot their name already. That's what the reality is. You know, and then that's when you go into depression. Like, oh, I'm not getting, this and that, or no one's recognizing me anymore. I'm not. Whatever.
So you're saying that they're getting the support up to the transition, and once they transition, hey, you're part of a tribe. Now we're just going to focus back to new people.
Yes.
Because that
Just-
sounds like recruitment.
It is recruitment.
All right. I just want to be clear on that.
Remember, Caitlyn Jenner had something to say about that. She's against grooming and getting these young people to transition at a young age. She believes you need to be older, you need to be educated, you need to talk to the right people, and not just the people that want to cut you up and make money off of that.
So Caitlyn Jenner transitioned like really late.
Yes,
Like how old? We talking
50 something.
50s? It's okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that's fine with me. It's
yeah.
like, you finally made that decision. Took you 50 years to figure
Yeah.
it out. Okay.
He
Okay.
already won his gold medals for the U.S., so he's probably like, okay, now.
You've gone like 30 plus years of adulthood thinking about, you know what, I'd rather still be a chick. Winning gold medals, being a dude, all of it. Says, I'd rather be a chick. Hey, you know what, at that point, have at it. No one can argue that. But when you're just a 20-year-old, not a lot of life experience, you're flirting with the idea of transitioning, you believe it hard that you want that. But 5 years from now, that could change.
Do you think you should be you shouldn't be called a transgender man or a transgender woman until you get the surgery?
I don't know. Because there's post and pre-op transgender, they call them. Pre-op means you didn't have any surgery. Post is
Can you imagine
you're taking the hormones and you've changed.
Dylan still has a wiener and hasn't had breast implants yet. Can you imagine Dylan a year from now? Haha, I made my money from Nike and Bud Light. I'm a dude again. I've always liked women.
Just got their money.
That could happen. That could happen. But yeah, we are talking a lot about this because it's in the news.
It's
And
in
I'm
the
sure we'll
news.
talk
It's-
about it again next week or 2 weeks from now. But
And the reason why we're talking about it is that we're still trying to figure it out ourselves.
Yeah,
I don't have the answers to any of it. I'm still trying to learn. I may be coming off a little ignorant, and that's because I am ignorant.
we're both ignorant. Because it's not, it's in our world, in our personal circle, but it's not in our face.
I'm
all
trying
the
to
time.
find the best way to support it.
Yes.
That's not pushing an agenda on people. Just if you want to do it privately, do your own thing the same way you do with your religion, same way you do with your private life. Don't need to go out there on social media just promoting it like crazy. No one likes it when you push politics on them. No one likes it when you push
That's where I'm at too.
religion at them.
I don't like when people push things on me that I should be on board and like it and this and that. Just be yourself. You know, if that's you, that's you. You know, the pronouns screw me up. They, and them.
Well, that's because it's plural. So are you identifying as more than one person? Like
And
multiple people?
Don't you?
It's
Don't you
that's
get
the
locked
pronoun
up?
thing. It's just the grammar part of it about it is
The
what
grammar part of it is.
it drives me crazy.
drives me
Why not
nuts.
just go by as I
Yeah.
or something singular?
So are you schizophrenic or do you have multiple personalities? Is that why you're they, them? Like at the end of the day, then you get locked up for that. Psychiatric ward, right? I don't know. When we talk about our cousin and that, when I hear we have discussions and we like, oh, how are they? I'm thinking, oh, are they talking about more than one person? And then they say their name and I'm like, oh, they're talking about so-and-so. They're using the pronouns. Duh. It gets tough, but it is what it is. But let's go on to another subject. What do you want? What's next on the agenda? What should we talk about? Oh, can we skip ahead? No, let's do that. Okay, let's talk about war. War, doom and gloom. What people talk about, what the media scares you about. We're going to war with China. Maybe, might be going to war with Russia. I don't think China wants a war. To be honest, I don't think they want to get into that. I think they just want to be dominant, right?
And they want to do it economically.
Yes. They have a lot to gain. They can't go to war with the Western countries because that's a lot of money.
What do you gain with war then?
You don't gain
'Cause
anything.
you only go into debt every time you go to war, and only a handful of people get rich from it. But the whole country in itself doesn't get rich.
And there's a chance that you might die. You
Yeah.
might get bombed. With technology and what we have nowadays, like,
I mean, if you're China, it deals like, okay, if we go to war, is it really worth it? Is the juice really worth the squeeze? And there's going to be huge bombs, a lot of death. For what? To be the dominant currency? We could do it another way.
yeah.
We could do it a different way.
Partnerships. You know, the main thing that the U.S. is scared of, I think, is when they lose, dominance over the dollar, they can't put sanctions on all these people anymore. Can't be the bullies. And that's what we are sometimes. We don't like something that China does or Iran or whatever does. We put a sanction on them, and it cripples their economy.
And what we have up here on display is where all the military bases,
Yes.
well, not necessarily military bases, but some type of structure
Military
there.
infrastructure, boots on the ground, basically. So if you look at all the dots, that's where we are. You're telling me that if we went to war, that we wouldn't already have the upper hand?
And each of those dots really means that we could send our resources and our boots there quickly.
Correct. And then those are the fleets, those aircrafts right there. That's where our fleets are.
I think that's like, well, okay. So
That's what it looks
Japan
like.
is 7th Fleet, right? 5th Fleet is Bahrain. 6th Fleet is in Italy. And then we have 2 fleets on the side of the U.S. and then Sandog.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess this is kind of where our fleet. Not this ship though. There's no fleet down here. I don't think those ships represent the fleets.
What would they
But-
represent?
Probably just our naval power or something. I don't know. Okay, you see the legend up here, naval fleet. I
Yeah.
get it. Probably just where they patrol.
Yeah.
I think Florida. I forgot what fleet that is. Probably they cover the Caribbean and probably down south.
Yeah, they probably patrol down south like that.
Yeah, and this fleet were Norfolk goes patrols up here, San Diego plus Hawaii, the Pacific, and then you have Japan in this area. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it is.
But look at those dots. We're there if a war broke out. And China knows that. Here's one theory I have. Like the Chinese, especially like North Korea, how they show off their military. Look what we have. Well, thank you, North Korea. Now we know what we have to defend against, and that one of the dots can take care of that.
Oh yeah, I worked in the Navy. I was what they call a spy tech. Basically, that's what the radar is called, spy. We can see the missile threats in the air from very far distances. And we know every time North Korea shoots a ballistic missile, like they're testing them, whatever, we know where it's going to end up. We have that capability of just how they're shooting it, how fast that rocket's going, angle, everything.
Velocity, all that, launch angle.
So we know where it's going to end up, and it always ends up in the ocean. But if we see where, it comes to the U.S. or any of that, we have the capability of shooting it down.
Yeah, we definitely have plenty of ocean to shoot all that stuff down.
So basically what it is, like if it's North Korea that shoots it towards the east, say towards like Hawaii, our fleet in Japan will see it, and they're probably not going to take the shot. They'll probably just tell someone in Hawaii to take the shot because it has to be a head-to-head shot. It can't
Right.
be...
Can't go from behind.
It can't go from behind. You have this tail chase.
But looking at that, don't you feel safer?
Don't you want that in a country? That you are the dominant country, so no matter what happens...
Well, you want to know that you're in the dominant country, right? Because you don't want to like live in fear.
Now, additionally, this shows a superpower's footprint throughout the entire world.
Correct.
One, it's expensive. Two, is it sustainable? I don't know. It's very expensive.
It is sustainable, but we're giving up a lot.
But imagine if that was taken away. You don't think another country would probably do the exact same thing? Do
Yeah.
we want China to be having those dots?
No.
Do we want Russia to be having those dots? Or do you want the U.S. to have those dots?
You'd be in constant fear. But they're in constant fear, and I get it, right? In their standpoint. So what you just said is like, oh, I'd be scared. Shoot, that's why they're scared. That's probably why they want to take down the U.S. dollar, so we're not as dominant. Maybe we take some of those dots off the board, But the U.S. and EU are and NATO, they're really, there's a lot of talk about BRICS, but they don't stand a chance to NATO. Plain and simple, they don't. And then Finland is joining NATO. Like, now they're right on the doorstep of Russia.
So, with BRICS, their strategy is not going to be military at all. It's just going to be economically.
They're
'Cause
trying
what other
economically.
choices they have? Why even do a military conflict? as backup, maybe.
No, it's just a flex. It's just for them to flex.
Because, I mean, the U.S. has a navy greater than the next 20 countries.
That's why if there's a war, we'll never lose.
Yeah. Actually, we've never lost a war, although we've got out of Afghanistan and the Vietnam War.
Like,
That was their own war of conflict that we tried to assist, but it wasn't our war.
yeah, it wasn't our war.
Hence why we still salute like this with our hand down instead of like this.
Interesting.
Because you salute like this because it means you never lost a war.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So
You see the British salute like this because they've lost wars.
No way.
That's what it means.
It's embarrassing. Here, I'm a loser.
There was the Vietnam War, but it wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
an
It wasn't
American
our war.
war.
We lost
It
a
was
lot
a
of lives.
civil war
Yeah.
within Vietnam that we tried to assist.
Yeah,
But
we always
we
stick our nose
withdrew.
in other people's
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and we need to stop that. I don't know. I don't know if losing the dollar is a bad thing. I mean, we need to stop being. We need to stop caring about the rest of the world. We need to worry about what's in between our borders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Ukraine thing. You have two sides to that story. You know, why is like Kevin Bacon and all these people going to Ukraine and doing photo ops? I thought they were in war. Wouldn't you be scared? Hey, go ahead and go down to Ukraine. There's a war right now, but you'll be fine. You're not going to get shot down. I wouldn't fly out there.
No.
Like, unless I knew it was like, all right. But there is a lot of people I talk to. They're either for or against it, and I hear their arguments. I'm like, interesting. You know, us as Americans, I don't know. Like,
That's a tough one because with the war in Ukraine, there's a crisis, and whenever there's a crisis, there's opportunity. So there's an opportunity for our industrial complex, industrial military complex,
which is a
or
big
military
deal.
industrial complex rather,
Yep.
to profit off that.
And they do.
And they definitely are.
They're making a ton.
But do we as Americans, do we really want Russia to succeed?
No, but
What would the world be like if there's no more Ukraine and it's run by Russia again?
would it make that big of a difference?
Well, does that mean, will Russia stop there?
No, you get Poland back.
Mm.
They would want.
So maybe that's what they're thinking. It's Ukraine, next is Poland. Do we want that?
Of course not. That's why we're interfering.
That's what it is. I mean, that's the difficult thing. Like, yes, military-industrial complex is winning again, but do we have to side with the devil, which military-industrial complex is? Do we side with them to prevent Russia, another evil entity, I guess we could say?
We call
To
it
take-
evil. Do we? I mean, and they've never been a world power. Let's be honest.
Well, they want to image themselves as a world power. Well, they have
They're not.
nuclear weapons. They possibly have the most nuclear weapons out of any country. United States
I
might
read
be
that
number
too,
2.
that they have more than us.
Technically, who's to say they're operational? They work.
Yeah, I was gonna
Maybe
say,
the
do
numbers
they
are
work?
inflated.
Yeah. Do they even
They're
work?
old. Like,
They're old. It's old. It's old technology. You're right. I read a report like they might not be work. And then I just read something yesterday. Oh, Russia's so aggressive because Putin has cancer. I've heard that for the last 20 years.
he's had cancer before.
Yeah,
and he's
like,
good.
He's good.
Mhm.
So yeah, your statement's right. He had cancer. It was gone. I mean, I don't know. I think that he's just trying to do the best for his people,
Mhm.
and we don't see it that way because we're fed a different story in the
Mhm.
media. But what if he is actually the good guy? Would it be that weird to say that he's really just doing this because we've been such bullies to the rest of the world that he's trying to take on the bully?
Well, we have many bases close to his borders, but does Russia have many bases close to our borders?
No.
With the exception of the Cuban Missile Crisis that happened.
That's the only one.
And that was the only one, and U.S. freaked out about it.
Yeah. That's a
Scared
big
of
deal.
nuclear war.
Yeah, we almost were. They were.
Mhm.
I heard that they were close on pushing the button on that one.
Very close.
Different world we would have been in. We would have been dead. Not born, I should say.
I don't know if it would be a World War III if everyone just starts piling on, or if it'd just be two world powers going at it, and we'll just see who's the dominant world power after that.
I think it's shit or get off the pot. I think if there was another war, that you get all your allies and they say no, you're either with us or you're against us. I think that's what the mentality would be. Because think about it. Okay, if you're not with me, you're going to
probably
sit
against
out.
me.
Then
Yeah.
you're probably already made a deal with let's just call it for what it is with Russia. Let's say we went to war with Russia, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go to France, say, all right, you got to have our backs. And France, like, we're going to sit this one out. Okay, what deal do you have with Russia?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think you're going to gain?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you're not with us, you better believe when I'm done whooping that ass, I'm coming back and punching you in the face. Right? Like, you weren't there for us when we had this skirmish. We've done so much stuff for France that for them to even,
Well, France done a lot for the United States too.
yeah.
When the
Goes back
United
and
States
forth.
was coming back, I'm not coming back. When the birth of the United States, when it was coming from its independence and
Yeah,
whatnot,
they gave us the Statue of Liberty.
and a lot of assistance
Yeah.
against fighting the British.
Well, yeah, because that's their enemy. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So they wanted a foothold here, and we gave them Louisiana, right?
Mhm.
The French corridor. That's all we gave them. But no, you're right. It goes both ways, and it's just like, that Soros money. You fund both sides of the war. See who wins.
Mm-hmm.
So it's what the Rockefellers and all those people do. So
Yeah, they bankrupt both nations, and then now they got to pay back.
and they got paid back, which is just so crazy. Like the whole debt ceiling, and you watch those numbers go up every day. It's almost like fairy tale. I don't even believe in that U.S. debt clock anymore. Right? Can you pull that up so people watching can see
Mhm.
what that
You-
is?
You just want to see a graph?
Yeah, I
of
see the
debt
graph.
ceiling?
Not the graph. Like, can you pull up the
U.S. debt clock?
the clock, the U.S. debt clock that shows it going up like crazy, and we're never going to pay that off. Yeah, pull that up. Take a look, peoples. Look at that number. It's in the red.
Read this one out loud.
Yeah, the U.S. national debt is 31. What is over a trillion?
No, that's a trillion.
Is it a trillion?
That's a trillion.
Let's see. Million,
100,000
billion. Yeah,
million,
31 trillion, 686 billion, and going up.
And per citizen?
Per citizen right now, to pay that off, you're at $94,000. You as an American are worth $94,658 in the red.
Mm-hmm.
So you're worthless. You're worse than worthless. You're in debt.
And the budget deficit, the official here, 1.4 trillion.
Wow. Yeah, we're in trouble.
So it's nonstop spending.
Yeah, we're never going to pay that off, and they know that.
I mean,
That's why we give them land and farms and stuff like that to like counter it.
But I mean, to at least manage the debt, you need to figure out a way to
Yeah.
have a surplus instead of a deficit.
Do you think that's why there's all these Chinatowns in the world, in the U.S.?
Why, they're like secret bases or something?
No, it's just like, oh, we owe you so much money. Here, you guys get your own town. Just kidding. That's not. Haha, not funny. Now, there's a lot of. I thought we had a Chinatown in Phoenix, and I guess we don't. We have little places and Asian communities, but you go to San Fran, Chinatown's really cool. I like it. I like going to Chinatown. So there's like, people are nice. You ever been? When's the last time you've been to Chinatown? Anywhere?
Well, Honolulu has a Chinatown.
No way.
Yeah, I like it.
Where was I don't remember
I mean,
seeing
the
Chinatown.
Chinatown there in Honolulu, I mean, that's where like a lot of bars at and stuff, a lot of fun action.
Where is it located in Honolulu?
I don't remember anymore. I want to say east side.
Because I wonder if it's by when I lived there.
Next to downtown on the east side. Oh my God,
Never-
I can't believe it.
Oh, that's on the other side. I think when I was in the Marines, they dropped us off on the west side of Waikiki.
No, that's east side. Waikiki's like way east of downtown.
No, but west of in Waikiki is where they dropped off what was called the boot bus if you didn't have a car.
Let me pull up a map of. Pulling up the map.
Yeah, pull up the Costco. That's the big one. There's Honolulu. Pull up Waikiki's.
Just so people see what I'm.
All right. Oh, pull up where you're talking about, Chinatown. Oh, is that it right there?
Chinatown's right here.
Ew, I've never went there.
Oh, downtown's on the west side. Yeah, right here is Chinatown. You
Okay.
can see it right there. And then east side is the downtown. Well, a lot of businesses and whatnot.
Yeah.
Where the governor works, senators, representatives, and then east side, well, past Ala Moana, east side here's
Waikiki. That's where they used to drop us off.
Mm-hmm.
Yard House. Good memories there. We used to take the booze cruise because we couldn't drink. You had to be an open sea to drink. if you're under 21. That was fun times.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was a rip off. They charge you like, I think it was $100 just to get on the boat, and then sell you expensive ass alcohol. And you're like, damn it.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, what else you have to you spend your money on? You're young and you just got your check. You're like, yeah, $100, no problem. You get on there and it's like $10 a Bud Light can, and you're like, give me a 6-pack, But that's what we did, young and dumb. Anyways, what else is on the docket here? Enough of talking about war and doom and gloom. Let me spit something out real quick.
What's that?
This is personal, so this is breaking news from my guy on the street, Ted Jimenez. Scott Schmestad, a friend of ours from the neighborhood, passed away. Wow, that's crazy. He was just a little bit older than me. Kid from the neighborhood. If you knew him or if you saw him, didn't know him, he was a scary dude back in high school and early on in college. He's a great guy. He's a big teddy bear. So he just passed away, Scott Schmestad. Born March 19th, 1976. Passed away April 16, 2023, which is today. So a lot of prayers to his family and my friends out there, Dobson community, Ted as well. Sorry to hear that news. That's crazy because young dude. That's a young dude, right? Think about that. Mm-hmm. People we know from the neighborhood are passing away or dying, and there's nothing there. Not enough information that he posted of how he passed away, and in reality, it'll come out later, and if he wants to share, awesome. If he doesn't, I understand, but Scott was a good dude, and I just wanted to bring that up here and talk about a good guy that was always good to so many people. So that, if we have more information, pass it along. That'd be great.
May you rest in peace.
Yeah, 100% rest in peace. Great dude. Great soccer player too. Great soccer player. Hey, let's talk about a show. Let's. I just watched a show called. If you can, just pull up like a poster or something out of it, and then I'll talk about it because it's something I came across because I'm into vampires and werewolves, just into that kind of realm, right? And there's a show called The Originals that I read a little plot line about it. And I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. It's on the CW. So I ended up watching it. It's a great show. I think it came out of Vampire Diaries. My sisters all watched that show, Vampire Diaries, and I not too into it. But The Originals is more of a darker. It's not like a kiddie, teen Twilight show. It's a little darker, but that's a really good show. Vampires and witches and werewolves, and you fall in love with these characters like Klaus Michelson. It's a family that ruled over New Orleans, and they came back in modern times, and it's pretty good. I think everyone should at least watch the first episode. The first episode catches your attention. Like the end of the first episode, you're like, what just happened? And that's how I saw it. I saw the first episode, and I was like, I want to see more. And then you start following the plot lines and stuff like that. It's a good show, so I want to throw out a quick recommendation for that. I think you'll fall in love with the characters. Miklaus, Elijah was my favorite character on that, Elijah Michelson. And then, Phoebe Tompkins is her real name. She's one of the main actresses. She plays the love interest in that show. She was great. And Marcel Gerard as his character, that's his name, is a great character. He's a vampire in there. So definitely check it out. See what you think. Just watch the first episode. Tell me what you think. I think when you see the very last part of that episode, you're going to be like, what is going on? And then that's how you're going to get your attention's going to get caught. That first season is excellent. Have you ever heard of that show?
No, I've not heard of the show, and I see that it's gone for 5 seasons. Started in 2013, ended in 2018. So it's gone for a while. Where can you watch CW shows?
Netflix.
Netflix has them? Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's where you can watch the originals was Netflix. Where I
so it still holds up?
It holds up really well. I watched Vampire Diaries as well, just after I finished the originals. I was like, I'll go back and watch this. It's night and day as far as like what I like. Vampire Diaries is a lot teeny bopper, not as good. The original's a little darker. No, I don't want to say realistic because I don't know if there's real vampires. Not to tread on anyone's hopes that you could be a vampire one day, but the originals was really good. And there's like another show called Legacy. I think I saw. I'll probably when I'm bored or have nothing else to watch, I'll watch Legacies. That's continues the story of the main character from the originals. And his daughter is in that. She's going to school, but that to me looks too kiddie, like same thing as Vampire Diaries, too light for my taste.
It's a CW show, so there's only so much they can do with it, right?
Yeah, CW shows are pretty light. CW shows did a lot. Like, have you seen that show, The Arrow? It's not Green Lantern, Green Arrow, but the show is called Arrow.
I've seen a little bit of it.
That was
It's a
pretty good.
DC Universe show,
DC
right?
Universe on CW because CW had a lot of DC shows. That and The Flash. They're decent shows if you're into DC.
They probably just didn't have a budget to make it as good as they wanted. I think.
No, it's CW. They don't have that kind of budget.
Mhm.
It's really light. But the originals is definitely, I want to try to have at least one review show, and I think that one, I liked it, and it caught my attention. I think if you just watch one episode, it'll catch your attention. If you like it, awesome. I've had a couple friends, I got them hooked on it, and I was like, just watch the first episode. They're like, hey, what's good? I need something to watch. Watch the originals. They're like, I don't want to watch this. This sounds stupid. Watch the first episode. 5 of them came back, were like hooked.
Can I recommend one show?
No, it's my show, not
All right,
yours.
fine.
Go ahead. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you watch all of The Last of Us?
Last of Us. That's Pedro Pascal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw it.
All of it?
All of it.
Should we throw in a spoiler alert, or is it too soon?
No, it's my show. I don't care. If you haven't seen it, turn it off right now because it's the end of the show anyways.
So, okay.
Hey, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the Among Us?
The Last of Us.
The Last of Us, Danny's going to ruin it for you. So
Okay.
go ahead.
I just want to talk about the ending.
What happened? Just
So at the end, the girl who's immune, they're going to operate on her, but they would have to open up her brain and pretty much kill her to potentially have a cure,
she has to die. Correct.
right? So Joel, Pedro Castro's character, was not going to have any of that, so he just kills everyone to save her. I mean everyone. But morally and ethically, if that was kind of your daughter, and you know that in order to have a cure to save humanity, would you let her die? Or would you just try to save her and say, let's try to figure out another way?
That's a hard choice because it's not his real daughter, but he felt the bond because his real daughter dies, and he got close to her. From first episode, he would have. I think he would have killed her himself. But towards the end of the show, who knows how much time went by, he developed that bond with her. Plus, she saved his life.
Mm-hmm.
So they're close. So yeah, he looks at her as a daughter and said, find another way. And if there isn't another way, then we all die. So in a way, he could have ruined humanity. But who's to say that would have worked? They're doctors, and they could have probably screwed up and it didn't work. And there might be someone else that might be immune. So I'm fine with that, with the ending, because it's going to create more episodes.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what the next season's going to be.
Absolutely. Real quick, I'm going to switch over to Tino. My cousin Tino just texted me. Something happened last night. Last night we went to Ginger Monkey, my wife's birthday. We did a surprise birthday thing for her, which was fun. I had a couple of drinks, and I was like, I want to get something to eat because I'm kind of hungry. So I ordered some wings, right? Regular traditional wings. First bite I took, just off a drum. I took the bite, switched it over to my side so I could chomp on it. First bite cracked my tooth. Like right now, it hurts.
Where
I'm doing
in
the
the tooth?
show in pain.
Where?
Right here in the back.
Like one of the molars way back
Yeah,
there?
way back. Second tooth from the back on the top. It's cracked. This is the second time I've cracked a tooth eating a chicken wing. And interesting enough,
Did you hit bone or
no bone. It wasn't bone.
Okay.
This was the first time I hit bone by accident. This time it wasn't bone. It was the outside. It was the outside. And I think a piece of a broken bone was cooked into the skin. And that's how it cracked. Very painful. It hurts right now. And I will be going to the dentist tomorrow. But Tino just texted me, asked me how my tooth, how's my tooth going? Because I was in a lot of pain last night. Like, I was in visual pain. And I was probably a dick to a lot of people last night. They were trying to talk to me. I'm like, oh, I'm hurting. Like, what do you want? Hurry up. Say what you got to say. I'm sorry that I was like that, but it hurt last night. It hurts right now, But he texted me, asked me how I felt, and I tell you right now, Tino, it still hurts. Just like last night. It still hurts. But interesting enough, in the same parking lot, there's a Zips. That's where I cracked my first tooth. So for
That
now,
corner is not good
dude,
for you.
that's no. It is the universe telling me not to eat chicken wings. I have to go boneless now. I have to go boneless because it's safer on my teeth,
could be? Yeah. Yeah. And
cost efficient as well. Because that dentist is going to charge me like $2,000. I guarantee it. Because dental insurance sucks.
yeah.
It sucks. They're going to say, oh yeah, this tooth costs $10,000, but we're only going to charge you $2,000. I'm like,
There's a stigma about eating boneless wings versus bone in.
there was until I have to eat boneless
Boneless-
wings. When I
until
see
you-
people eat boneless wings, like, dude, come on, dude, you got to eat the bone ends better. Not anymore. I see someone eat boneless wings. I'm like, yep, my guy. You know what's up.
It's just easier to just, get your fork, stab the chicken, eat it, not be a mess.
Yeah, 100%. Because you get really messy eating regular traditional wings, but boneless wings, you're right. Stick the fork, dip it into the ranch, boom.
But it's a different piece of the chicken, right? Isn't it like chicken breast or something like that? The boneless?
Nah, it's probably I don't think it's chicken breast. They're not gonna leak. I think it's like the excess chicken nugget type, whatever. But it's still good. It's still good. Like Barl's Pizza makes tremendous boneless barbecue wings. My daughter gets them all the time. I like them. We had them over the weekend. I was like, these are really good. It's hard though to find good boneless wings here in the valley. A couple places I go, I order it, and I'm like, these are McNuggets. Like, what the hell? $20 for like 12-piece McNuggets? That's not right.
Yeah. I mean, we need help from people watching this and to comment below of what are some good boneless wings in the valley. Switching over from bone in to boneless, not that great, but it's a necessary step. I've had teeth crack on me all the time, but I'd never experienced pain.
I have a ton of pain right now.
I'm sorry you're going through that.
Well,
Maybe some of it
you didn't
stabbed
do
you
it,
or
so
something.
you didn't do it, so it feels like a heartbeat. Especially like when I drink hot and cold, like where I am now. I have to drink it, make sure it goes to the back of my throat, bypassing my sides of my teeth, and then drink it down.
Does a straw help?
I haven't tried a straw.
You might have to do a straw if
Yeah,
it's
I might have
bothering
to
you
do
that
a
much.
straw. But I'm doing soft foods right now, very soft foods.
Jello.
Damn it, I forgot to make Jello today. But yeah, like Jello and stuff like that. Oatmeal's real good. But yeah, nothing too hard. What else we got to talk about?
I mean, we got the Suns game to watch here soon in about an hour.
We gotta get ready for that. Maybe buy some boneless wings for that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, sorry for your pain. Yeah, sure you're sorry, but your words don't do anything. So that's all right. That's pretty much it for the show this week. We pretty much covered. Oh, do we have time to talk about one more thing?
Yeah, what is it?
This has been on my mind for a couple weeks, and we always talk about we're gonna do this. XFL.
Oh, okay.
Bring up XFL.
Let me bring
How
it
many
up.
teams are in the XFL? 8, I think. I think we already talked about it.
I just got on the website here.
There's 8 teams in the XFL.
We did talk about this.
1, 2, 3, ocho. Yep. There's 8. So the teams are Arlington Renegades, DC Defenders, Houston Roughnecks, Orlando Guardians, San Antonio Brahmas. What the hell is a Brahma? Seattle Red Dragons, St. Louis
Sea Dragons.
Battlehawks.
I did the same thing. It's Seattle Sea Dragons.
What did I say?
Red Dragons.
Oh, I'm so stupid. Yeah, Sea Dragons. They should just change it to Red Dragon. Sounds better. St. Louis Battlehawks, which is my favorite name, Battlehawks, and the Vegas Vipers. So there's 8 teams right there, right? XFL is failing just like the USFL. They don't have the viewerships. They're going to start diminishing here pretty soon. We had a great idea for this, right?
Off air, yes.
Yes.
So let's tell everyone about this.
Let's hear Rock Dwayne Johnson, who I am a big fan. What if you drop the X in XFL and change it to a W? Why? The World Football League. Why world? Do tell, Danny. Why are we changing this to the World Football League?
So why even bother with competing with the NFL? NFL is landlocked to just the United States. Why not just expand? Do better than NFL. Go around the world, especially in this day and age. Get some teams from Europe. That's a great place to start. Maybe it's to get a Canadian team, maybe get a Mexican team or two.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Let's go. I think you add those 2 teams, a Mexican team and a Canadian team. You add them to the
In World Football League, so you have a North American conference, and then you have maybe a World
the
or Europe
EU.
conference or something like that.
Yes, the EU. Do we have something like a map that you can pull up so we can look at Europe right now? Let's just go ahead and make up those teams.
I'll just do a Google Maps.
Boom.
All right, let me pull up.
Okay, let's pull that up. All
There we
right. So I'll tell you the teams right now. Let's go ahead and give London a team. All right. Berlin has to have a team. There's fans in Berlin. What else do you see? Rome has to have a team. Barcelona has to have a team.
Paris? Would Paris?
Paris,
be?
you have to have a team, even though I hate Paris. So we have to have France represent. Oh, Amsterdam. Amsterdam, those fans would be drunk all the time. That's where you get your beer
Well, you
sales.
might as well have Dublin in there too.
Dublin would sell tickets. How many teams is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need essentially 3 more teams. Why don't we go to like? Do we dare go to like Egypt?
I mean, sure. I mean, you do. Would Egypt be part of? I mean, you could have Turkey. Turkey could have a team. Georgia could have a team.
Istanbul would have to be in there, right?
I mean, some of the Norwegian countries could have a team. Why not?
Yeah.
And well, my only
Stockholm.
concern is,
Copenhagen.
are they going to call it football in Europe? Because what we call soccer is football to them.
Ooh. Yeah, there's a conundrum right there. That could be an issue.
You can't
World-
rename it, right? So we'd call it World American Football League.
No, because they're not playing in America. They're playing in their countries. We want to get away from America and create. Wow. Yeah, we're in trouble. We fucked that one up. Sorry for the F-bomb.
Well, I mean, how do they do it when they have games in London? Do they just call it American football?
Yeah, I think they call it American football. American Football League. Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Okay, you have to change the name. That's okay. Whatever.
World
But
American
we
Football.
can stay on this topic about how this can expand. The XFL can still expand, and this is how they can differ from the NFL.
You can still keep XFL name, and say extreme football instead of football. So there's your difference, characteristic. It's extreme football, not regular football.
Oh yeah, get rid of the extreme. That's kind of dumb.
So I was just saying keep it, but now you're saying take it away. So
Extreme football.
yeah, that's why
league?
we always disagree, but that's all right.
It's okay, we're brothers that way.
I don't know. Yeah, that's. What do you guys think? What would you call it? Knowing that everyone else in the world calls soccer football, you say soccer in another country, they're like, what are you talking about? You still have to call it football. You just call it American Football League?
Or did they just call it something else in America? There'll be an NFL, which the NFL will still call it football, but the XFL can just call it something else that the entire world can agree on.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It'd be 2 different names, and they just play each other in the world championship. That'd be a real world championship.
It would be.
So no,
I mean, it's not going to be called ACAN or whatever the Europeans like to joke about it.
yeah, but there's plenty of countries in Europe and maybe a team in Saudi Arabia that represents all Saudi Arabia, just like France would represent all France. But it opens it up for players to extend their careers, too.
I mean, would it be like how the NHL does their All-Star North America versus World?
Yeah.
Just do North America versus North America and Mexico and Canada
Versus the world.
Mm-hmm.
For now.
with the United States, right? Yeah, I'd like that. Maybe they could eventually branch off into like 4 different conferences. It'd be like in Africa,
Yeah.
in Asia, Europe.
Yep. So we have the solution. Because the problem is you're trying to compete with something that's already been around for decades, and you're not going to reinvent the wheel by creating another league of B-listed players that you're trying to get them to know, but they're not going to play more than 1 season, maybe 2, and then they're gone. So you're not going to get jersey sales.
Because they can only do 2 things. Either A, put a lot of money getting the NFL's top-rated players to play for them,
That's
which
not gonna
they don't
happen.
have the money.
They
It's
don't-
like saying,
it's not
Patrick
gonna
Mahomes, come play with us now.
No.
Or it's just,
They tried
Or-
that with Jim Kelly and all those guys back in the day, remember?
yes. And in addition, they could just probably get players who are close to retirement to come to the NFL for ticket sales.
Oh, I see what you say, like players that are done here and try to squeeze a year or 2 for ticket sales.
Right.
Well, that's like soccer.
It'd be
MLS
like
does
Tom
that.
Brady would go to XFL or
Yeah,
some of
but
these
that's a-
older guys, right?
Yeah, but I don't. It'd be interesting, but like
Be like Aaron Rodgers, come over here. He's almost done.
he still would get paid a lot more staying in the NFL as a backup than
Yeah.
going to. They don't have the ticket
What
sales,
about
jersey
Cam Newton?
sales. They don't have. Cam Newton has no options though.
Mm-hmm.
That's someone that could do that because he doesn't have the options.
Mm-hmm.
But
But yeah, I mean, the XFL can't throw huge money on one player
until
to get
they
viewers.
go get that European money,
I mean, that's a mine right there. That's a gold mine.
yeah, that is 100% a gold mine. But no one's listening to us, and then when they do, we're not gonna get any credit.
I mean, we have this evidence. That's about it.
Yeah, let it happen. Give us a little credit. Let us watch opening day or something or whatever you want to call it. But that's pretty much it on that subject. Oh, did you meet my buddy Robert last night, Elbeck?
I believe so.
He's a good dude. I wanted to bring him up real quick because he is someone that I look up to as a person. I look up to a handful of people. This guy, Aaron Van Trojan, is one of them. I have great respect for. Robert Elbeck is one of those guys that I keep in my circle because I steal a lot of knowledge, I guess you want to say. He makes me feel better about myself when I talk to him. Like I like certain people in my group because I think I learn from them. Robert Elbeck is number 1 on that list because of how he is as not just a man but as a dad, right? He has a same thing that I have. He has a son and a daughter, and the relationship he has. He's a very loving father, husband. He is just one of my role models, and I tell him this all the time. Like, dude, you're my role model. He laughs about it, but dude, he is. Like, he's my number 1 guy when it comes to like what I want to aspire to because he's a great husband, fantastic father. His kids, like, I know his kids well, and they're great kids. He raised great kids. They love their parents. They love their dad. I want my kids to be like that. If that happens, I would have lived the most successful life as a father. So for me, he is number 1 father of not just the year, decade, whatever. He is number 1. And so, Rob, if you're watching this, dude, my hat goes off to you. I tell you that all the time. Sometimes when I've had a couple drinks, I tell you, dude, I want to be just like you. It's just because you're a good dude. You're a good dad, and you make so many people around you like happy, man. Like he is. Like I said, him, like this other guy, Aaron Van Trojan, that I look up to. Like these are people I want to be around. I feel smarter. I feel like I'm stealing knowledge from them. Sometimes I feel bad, like I have nothing to give back to you. But you know what? I give you my loyalty. Like I believe you guys. Like I love talking to you guys. You're what you believe might not be what I believe, but your argument is very compelling and it sheds a different light. So, did you say you met him? You did meet him, right?
Yeah,
He's
I
super
meant like
tall?
all your friends, but
He's super great
I'm
guy.
terrible with names. But
He's a super great guy. He's 100% like he considers me a good friend. So right there, I'm like, dude, for life. So he's one of my number one guys that I have in the rotation. Like that if he says, hey, I'm having something at the house, that I will go to. If I have something else going on, I will try to go to his thing first, because he's a great person to be around. He's just the energy he has, and he has, every time I see him, he has that smile like, Luke, you made it. Luke, you're around. And he gives me the biggest hug, and like, he's super sincere. And that's what you want from friends. You want, when you walk into a room, someone you haven't seen in a while, and they're like, yay, and they have because you can fake a smile, right?
okay.
It's super easy to fake a smile. But when you see a genuine smile, you're like, damn, this is my dude. That's my guy. So I just wanted to bring that up because I wanted you to meet him. You did meet him. Shoot, we went to go get that cigar bar, remember?
Oh,
You met
I remember.
Rob. We
Yeah,
hung
I was
out.
actually talking to him.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I'm sorry, Rob. Great dude.
Yeah, we went to...
Fellow Marine. I get
Did we
it.
go to Zips, or what restaurant was that?
I already forgot the name of it.
Blue 32.
Blue 32. Okay.
Pretty good food. And we walked to the cigar bar. Yeah. That was a good night. That was a great night. Anytime I hang out with them, it's a great night. You know?
Definitely need to hang out with him more.
I
like them.
It's just life is too busy. I don't. There's a lot of people I don't hang out with, and it's not because I don't want to. Maybe a couple I don't want to, but the majority of my friends I love to hang out with. But I'm busy. I'm just super busy. You know, like I'm Monday through Thursday. I'm on the soccer field. Saturday, all day Saturday, I'm out there coaching 2 games at least. It's tournament weekends. It's like all day. Like we just had a tournament weekend 2 weeks ago. We're on the soccer field, from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m., 6:45.
My
right?
goodness.
And that's an 8 a.m. game that you have to wake up early. I have to be at the field by 7:30. It's a long, long, long day. And the sun beats on you and you're just tired. That day, I came home on Saturday night, like 7 o'clock. I wasn't going to do anything. I'm going to sleep.
The sun alone will
The
kick
sun
your ass.
crushed me. I mean, I still have that sun. You can see it right now. It's like bad suntan, whatever. But yeah, it crushes you. But so I'm busy, and it's not. I'm busy with my kids, you know, and I like it like that. I love being in their life and helping them out and doing, you know, coaching my son's team is one. It's a lot of hard work. It's like, you know, when they were younger, it's like herding cats. But now that they're older, they all have attitudes. They're all, you know, all these kids, 17 kids on the team, all have different personalities, and some will listen, some won't. And that's where I get to yell at them. You know, oh, you don't want to listen? Go run. See you later. Okay, now you want to listen, but you still have to run. You didn't listen the first time. That's pretty much it. And with that, I have nothing else. I have one thing left, but I'll see if you have anything left in your tank, and then we'll shut off for the week.
I got nothing else. I think I'm just ready to watch the Phoenix Suns game.
Nice. All right, we'll get ready for the Suns. We got one new thing that we have this week. Right behind me, we have Bruno, the bull. Great bull. There's a story behind it. I don't know the story. There's no story. It's just a cool picture. I really like it, and I wanted to put it back there so there's something there. One of my buddies was like, it'd be cool if you had a background or something where you're not just staring at a wall. I'm like, oh, cool. So you're watching the show.
We have to take the glass off it because there's a glare.
There is a glare, but there's at least something up, okay? Let's just go step 1, all right?
Okay.
Baby steps. We're going to get there, and we're doing cool stuff. Again, this is a journey. It's a marathon, not a sprint. This is just chronicles of Luke. That's why it's called Just Luke. And, you know, I do this show with my brother just for fun. It's a hobby. And it's a way for people who are close to me, my friends and family, that yeah, I am busy and I'm hard to get a hold of, but you can just watch an episode, watch a clip, watch a short. You can see what we're talking about, what we're thinking, and you can just hear my voice. That's my goal. And we are going to be on Spotify, right? Are we still doing
Yeah,
that?
we're going to work on that. We got to work on that account.
Yeah,
and upload the MP3s to it, all that
Nice.
fun stuff.
That's your job, not mine. I don't do any. I just talk. That's my thing. That's why I bring to the table. I talk. And you convinced me to do this, so I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I'm having a lot of fun. I think this is great, and I hope more of you would watch and have an interest of what's going on, not just in my life, but my opinions, right? Because if you don't agree with me, let's talk about it, right? And I'm going to incorporate guests. We just got to figure out how we're going to do that.
We'll figure it out, but once we have the budget for it, another microphone, all that stuff, and the setup.
The setup's the big deal. We're going to get a different setup down the road, but for now, we just want to get our message out, talk about certain things.
I mean, that's one thing people don't know behind the scenes is the setup and how difficult it is to get the lighting, the sound.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. You don't even know. I try to get you to do something, you're just like, oh, I'm like, just review the video for a second. Tell me what you want.
Yeah. Well, I'm even sometimes too busy to do that. But I did that this week. I sent you some clips and stuff, and I'm like, hey, do this. Even though you said you were going to do that. But that's all right. We're both busy.
Our audio last week, I don't know what happened. I think I know, but
Yeah.
I had to clean it up as much as I could. It still came out acceptable, but this one will be better.
Yeah, yeah. And they will be the more we go through this process. If you go on this journey with us, awesome. And if you don't, no problem. Just, I'm going to kill you. Anyways, we'll just hang out and see what happens. That's all I got, man.
Right?
Just
All right.
Luke is out.
Like, subscribe.
Comment down below. All that good stuff. Let's figure out what tell us a show you like so we can watch it and we can tell you if it sucks or not. And same thing with food or a restaurant. Tell us what you like. We'll go there. We'll take a picture. If we like it or whatever, we'll tell you what we think about it. And if you own your own restaurant, whatever, have us over. Let's test your food.
All right. Let's end it.
And that's it. Luke out.